the Magic Millions. Skirt the Wall has taken over and kicked away. Skirt the Wall's in front, and Skirt the Wall's all too good. Skirt the Wall's won by length and a half.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Final Gallop. It is episode 301 and is proudly supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. This week we're going to preview our team of runners for the Mekka Raceday at Doomben on Saturday, one of the big social events of the year. Morning Tony, as the name of the race day suggests, the Ekka is on just down the road this week, but unfortunately the whole region has been dealt a terrible blow with all this rain.
Yeah, good morning Claire, good morning everyone. Yeah, it's unusual too. I can't remember a wet Ekka. Maybe people out there could. I've only been down here 12 years, I think, now in Brisbane, and I certainly can't recall a wet Ekka in this time. It's normally windy, blue skies, and a bit fresh in the mornings, but this year it just hasn't stopped raining since Sunday night. So it's been pretty testing getting horses ready for this races and this race day. I heard you say it's a big social day.
Yeah.
It's for the youngies.
It is.
It's not for us.
No.
It's for the youngies. They get a good crowd there, and it's a lot of fun. It used to be always on the Ekka holiday on the Wednesday, and they've shifted it now to the Saturday meeting. So I hope they get a good crowd there, and all the young ones get out there and have a fun time. There's always plenty of loud music, and it looks a lot of fun. So hope they get out there in droves.
And they'll party rain, hail or shine anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, on to Saturday's preview for the runners at Doomben. The rail is in the true position. The track is currently a heavy 10 with the forecast looking reasonably good for the rest of the week now. As we say, that is still raining. At the very best, what do you think the track could get back to?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a good question. I knew that one was coming this morning, and I don't really know the answer to it. I was desperately hoping this morning when I got up and come to work that this rain would be gone and we'd have clear skies, and it would just give it that extra bit of time to dry out. But that's not the case. We're still showering and spitting. We haven't had a lot in it overnight or this morning, but it's just enough to keep everything wet.
Yeah.
We got quite a lot of rain yesterday, being Wednesday. So I don't really know. It all depends on what happens really over these next couple of days. We really need a bit of sun and a bit of wind, and we really need some wind. We're not going to get enough heat in the sun. So it's too hard to say. Obviously the track's definitely a heavy 10 now. It's very wet. I'd love to say it could get back in the soft range, but I may be being optimistic.
Maybe just a little bit. We will start with race 2, which is the cutest 3-year-old fillies handicap over the 1110 metres. Barbie's sister is in this, 57 kilos with Emily Lang's 3 kilo claim. Barbie's drawn barrier 6. She's currently paying $2.30 to win and $1.16 for the place. She is a winner of the listed Kawa Girl as a 2-year-old in the summer and returned with a big trial win last month. Unfortunately, she was dealt a very heavy track first up at Randwick 3 weeks ago and was a non-factor. How did she come through that run?
She's come through the run quite well. She had a good sort of 10 days away at Embrook after that, and she's come back here in great shape. She worked up Saturday and Tuesday morning, although quite wet Tuesday. She worked very well, and she appears in good order. I sent her away thinking we're going to get pretty good ground in Sydney, and it just didn't occur. We got showery rain, and the track is very tired, very winter-tired track. And the only good thing about this weekend is that rail's gone back to the inside pad. It's a very fresh bit of grass, so the track inside should be really good. If we were racing out that 7 or 8 metre pad, I'd be very worried about the weekend. So it just depends on how this track dries out. I don't know if I want to go on any sort of heavy ground, so I probably may have to get back to soft for her. I'll talk to Harvey and we'll discuss that closer to Saturday, but at this point in time she'd need better weather. Definitely the right race for her. She maps to go straight to the front and control things, and she's a well above average filly. She's definitely back in far inferior grade to what you saw her racing in Sydney, and probably the softest race she's actually been in. The races earlier in the season were stronger than this also. So she's the right horse for the race. I just need the right conditions. Okay.
We go down to race 4 next, which is the Class 3 plate over the 1350 metres. We'll have 4 runners in this at this stage. First one is I See You Coming, 57 kilos with Emily Lang's 3 kilo claim, barrier 4. He's paying $5 to win and $2 for the place. He's a very consistent on-speed galloper after a few close placings. He was a good winner at Doomben over the 1200 metres last start. Steps up to the 1350 now.
Yeah, he's a nice horse. He puts himself in a good spot, doesn't he? He just bounces, holds a nice forward position. There's enough speed here. He'll just lob up in the first 5, just wherever. He handles wet ground. He's very adept on wet ground, so heavy tracks no worries, soft tracks no worries. In fact, all his form down south prior to coming here were all on soft ground. Yep. So he's a really live chance. He's won at 1400, so the distance no concern.
Okay. Next one is Warby, 60 kilos. Ryan Maloney rides, barrier 8. He's paying $3.80 at the moment to win and $1.75 for the place. It's the first single figure barrier he's drawn in his past 5 starts. Only just missed his last couple of starts, both at the 1350, and he's had a good trial at Deegan since.
Yeah, he's in good order, the horse. He trialled up pretty good on sort of average ground. He likes sort of soft or better. he's one that doesn't want it heavy either,
Yeah.
this horse, but he's going really well. He's found the right race, he's got the right gait, there's enough tempo in it for him to be midfield with cover, and the horse-jockey combination that's the best combination for this horse. So he ticks all the boxes. He just, a bit like Barbie's sister in the first, he just needs dry ground.
Dry ground. Next one is Castilian, 58.5 kilos, Jimmy Orman, barrier 15. Castilian's paying $7 to win and $2.50 for the place. Was a good effort first up at Doomben a fortnight ago over the 1200 metres. Will enjoy the rise and trip, but not the gate possibly.
Yeah, but he'll enjoy the ground.
Yes.
Good wet tracker, all his best forms on wet ground. His first up run was terrific for a horse not noted to really fire first up. I thought he was really good. He indicated this step in distance, soft ground, all this is very suitable. I think he'll shorten in the market off that quote.
Okay. Set to Shine is the fourth one. She'll carry 58 kilos. Angela Jones will ride her. She'll jump from barrier 12. She's paying $9.50 to win and $3 for the place. Was a winner on a heavy track at Eagle Farm 2 starts ago before a close third at this track and trip last start. Can the track conditions help her?
Yeah, I think so, because she's definitely up in grade. She comes from a 68 to this 3 plate, which is a strong enough sort of 3 plate, but the conditions are right in her favour. Ange knows her well. She's a forward-running filly that handles wet ground. So she goes in the mix. It's hard to say who here. I'll probably, just due to the track conditions, I think the way he gets into the weights, I'll probably put I See You Coming on top.
Okay.
If there was to get back into the soft range, Warby's a big chance.
Okay. Race 5 is the Fillies and Mares benchmark 78 over 1200 metres. We have 2 runners in this. We'll start with Nana Guy, 58 kilos with Emily Lang's 3 kilo claim. She'll jump from barrier 2. She's paying $3.70 to win and $1.60 for the place. It was an improved run last start at Doomben over the 1100 metres. She's drawn well and Emily's claim will be a big help.
Negative not one out to 1200. Just worries me her enthusiasm for wanting to find the line. But if I go back through her form, all her best runs are on soft ground.
Okay.
Are all on soft ground. She worked well on soft ground here on Wednesday morning. It was obviously a dirt track, not grass, but it was still soft and sloppy, and she loved it. So I don't know. I just think the softer heavy ground's a big plus for her. She's in definitely the right grade for her. She's a better horse than this grade. I just want to see her win. I want to see her have that attitude to want to run through the line, because I thought she loomed the other day behind Brereton and just didn't finish off. So I think on genuine wet track, this is a chance.
Okay, the other runner we have in this is Miss Middle Park. She'll carry 58.5 kilos. Angela Jones will ride her and she has drawn barrier 4. Miss Middle Park's paying $4 to win and $1.70 for the place. Ultra impressive last start in the same race as Nana Guy, having to come with a wide run and was one of the best closers. Also drawn well, but no real wet form for her.
Yeah, no, the wet's a big worry for her. She wants soft or better as well. Heavy ground, she probably wouldn't run. Got camp drafted off on the corner the other day. The run was really good.
It was.
She's going well, this mare. I'm very happy with her. She just needs the track to improve. She can run well, but she just wants better ground.
Okay,
I think Nana Guy gets a chance now. If you look at her soft track stats or wet track stats, this is her go. So
okay.
I think it's a good ride for Emily. There's enough pressure up front. Emily will just sit back by the time and try and get through them. And if she can't hit the line on ground like this, I'm going to be in some trouble with her.
Okay. Race 6 is the Colts, Geldings and Entires benchmark 78 handicap over 1200 metres. We have 3 runners in this. Brereton will start with 60 kilos with Emily Lang's 3 kilo claim, barrier 4. He's paying $3.70 to win and $1.70 for the place. He has won both his starts at this preparation at Doomben over the 1110 metres. Was first up on a soft 6 and should get first up was on a soft 6 and he should get a nice run from the gate.
Get a beautiful run. He's a lovely horse. She'll ride him well. She'll bounce, put him handy. He'll be anywhere in the first 3 or 4. Get a lovely run and get every chance to get 1200. I thought the other day how strong he was that last half furlong. Although the second horse was probably just dying on his run a bit, might have flattered us, he really put his head down and wanted to have a go. So I like him. In fact, he actually goes down half a kilo for winning with the claim. So I think he's a lovely kid's horse to ride, and I think she'll give him a good ride, and he's very well placed.
Hurt So Good will carry 58 kilos. Jimmy Orman will ride him, barrier 2. He's paying $7 to win and $2.40 for the place. Had won 3 in a row before a wide gate and run was his undoing last start at this track and trip. Has gate 2 here and also has won in heavy going. Yeah,
won in a heavy track. He'll settle a lot closer. He'll be midfield here rather than right back and having to come round them. He'll get a much better run. Look for him to be very strong late. He'll handle the ground beautifully. Orman knows him very well.
Daytona is the third one, 57.5 kilos. Ryan Maloney rides barrier 11. He's paying $6 to win and $2.20 for the place. Big finish for second last start at this track and trip. Unfortunately drawn a wide gate, so we'll need to produce another big finish.
Well, he'll just go back anyway. We'll just ride in quiet and look to get him to the outside. I thought the other day he just got a bit keen and he got hung up inside horses, and his intent, going underneath them is never as good as when he can get to the outside. So I think ridden in the second half here with a bit of cover and then tracking up, finding room to the outside, you'll see him really rattling home. It just depends how much work he has to do from where he gets in the run, but he'll handle the ground. I think Maloney's the right rider for him.
How are you splitting the three, Brereton?
I'm going to put Brereton on top. I just love how he maps all the time. He just bounces and finds a spot, and you know he's going to find, and he could quicken with 60 and a half. There's no reason he won't quicken with 60. Okay. So I quite like him. Heavy ground he's never really done much on, but he is a Zoo Star and he's in good form. So I'm going to back him to stick it out.
Okay, race 7 is the benchmark 85 handicap over the 1350. Two runners in this. Rockribbed was the first one, 57.5 kilos with Emily Lang's 3 kilo claim. Barrier 2, he's paying $4.60 to win and $1.95 for the place. Won 2 from 3 this preparation, including last start at this track and trip. Drawn well, and Emily's claim is pretty valuable to him. Yeah,
gets in beautifully at the weights, bounces, finds himself prominent in running. He'll be handy. Heavy track stats aren't great. I'd try and monitor if he still is heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm just super happy the way this horse is going. He's won on soft. He's raced very well on soft for me. I'm particularly happy with the horse being raced well.
Okay, next one is Pizarro, 58.5 kilos. Ryan Maloney will ride him, barrier 9. He's paying $10 to win and $3.10 for the place. Has finished midfield his past few, but last start didn't get a clear run at them. Back to the 1350 for this, and does handle rain-affected ground.
He does, loves the wet. I think he'll shorten in the market. I'd be shocked if he didn't. He'll sit back just worse than midfield with a bit of cover. Won't be back as far as what you'll see Daytona in the race previous, but he's certainly off midfield. There's enough temp pressure in this race. They'll roll along a bit and he'll be coming to the outside. I want to see him just track up and then get some room to the outside. If he does that, I reckon he'll really flash to the line. We saw that at Ipswich, them couple of wins early in the piece when Jimmy could track up and pull him out and give him some room late, and he really savaged the line. Hopefully we can see something similar here.
So he's on top of the 2?
No, I'm going to stick with Rockribbed. Okay. I like the horse. I think he's flying. I think with the claim he gets in very well. But I can certainly see Pizarro with his wet track stats certainly shortening in the market, because it just depends on what horses are going to get through this ground and what sort of ground we're going to get. As I sit here now, or stand here now, it's looking awful, but this may not be the case come Saturday.
Okay. We'll go to race 8 now, which is the Class 6 handicap over the mile. Madame Odette will run 56.5 kilos. Jimmy Orman rides barrier 12. She's paying $3.30 to win and $1.60 for the place. Was a strong winner last start over the Doomben mile, and she has raced well, down to a soft 6 previously.
Yeah, and the only go on heavy ground was at Warwick Farm, and she hurt herself in the tie-ups before. It was just a mess. We weren't there. It was a midweek. So I'd forget about that. I think she'll run no matter what. The ride the other day was a perler. He had an awful alley, and he was just given 11 out of 10. He's going to need probably to do something similar. Although we've got all day just to see, racing on wet tracks, often areas of it deteriorate throughout the meeting. So we don't know that gate's going to be as bad as what it looks now. It may not be. They might be coming off fence, but I think she'll run well. She's just really well placed in these races. Her weight's well, good jockey on the nose. I just think that she's well placed again, and I haven't really got an issue with her in the ground.
Okay. Race 9 is the open handicap over the 1110 metres, and we have Mr. Consistent Situation Room running in this with 57 kilos. CJ Graham on board, barrier 4. He's paying $13 to win and $4.20 for the place. As I said, he's had a very consistent preparation, just out of the winner's circle. A couple of good runs on heavy amongst them. Last start gave the leader too big a start on that day, and faces the first 2 from that race again, but has drawn much better than they have. Yeah,
he has, and he can handle a heavy. I think it's a pretty open race, this. He's going really good, this horse. He's going well, but I just worry he's getting up in the weights a bit now in these opens. I know he hasn't got a huge weight in 57. I'd love to see him 54 on his back. But he's such an honest horse. He'll put himself in the first 4 or 5 in running. There's good speed here. Depends on what happens with scratchings, etc. between now and Saturday. But he's a prominent sort of horse. He races hand to the speed. He's got a lovely racing pattern. The winner just ran him off their legs the other day from the 600. You just see he come off the bridle a bit. So I just give him a bit extra time to get over that run. Having ran on so many wet tracks during the carnival, I know I spaced his runs, but every run seemed to be on a really heavy track. And We know he handles the ground. He posies well. He'll run well. He's a really good each way chance, like he always is when he goes round. I'd love to see a couple of kilos off him.
Okay. We are into the final furlong of this week's Final Gallop. Who is your best winning chance at Doomben on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, I think, with the weather and the tracks. I just don't know what I'm going to get. So it's hard. I'll go with Rockribbed. I think he's going. I know he's going really well. I feel he'll get through the ground.
Okay.
So I think this track will improve, obviously, out of that 10-9 range.
Yep.
Whether we're an 8 or a 7, I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Rockribbed.
Okay. Your best each way chance?
I don't know what price I see you coming's going to be, but I think those two horses, they're each way win.
Okay.
Like you can back them either way. You can either go see you coming or him. Back them both totes. They got lovely racing patterns. Emily gets the 3 kilos off on both, and they just get in their races so well. So I think I see you coming each way. But I've got a really good team in for the day. A lot of horses get through the ground.
Yep.
Whatever the ground's going to be, a lot of them get through it. So I could easily, if I knew the track was going to get back to the soft range, and Barbie's sister would just go straight on top.
Okay.
So there's a few there. It just depends on the ground for the weekend.
Okay, your best at the provincials. We have Ipswich on Friday and Toowoomba on Saturday night.
I'm going to leave the provincials alone. I could say Power Flash because she loves the wet ground.
Yeah, she does.
1350 wet track. All her recent good runs have been on soft or worse. So you could have something each way on her, and I'm sure she'll be good enough odds. But I really don't know what Ipswich is going to serve up tomorrow. It's only a day away.
Yeah.
Ipswich, it really needs to dry out. So let's leave the provincials alone. Let's just concentrate on Doomben Saturday, my favourite track up here.
Yes.
A very happy hunting ground for the stable,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we can get some winners.
Yes. Your best track worker this week?
Awful week of track work, just sloppy, wet conditions, just about holding them all together. So we've got them all through safe and sound, and we've got a lovely team, nice and fit to the race. That's what I'm happy with.
Okay, and your winner for the week?
Liquor.
Liquor.
Every time she goes round, there's something goes on. We nearly had a no race.
Yeah.
Obviously, they started that right around the back to start before, so that was a messy race, and she won and won well. But probably didn't get the kudos she deserved, which is fair enough because it was awfully messy.
Yes.
And then on the weekend, gets the severe interference, has to win in the protest room, in the stewards room. So, no, Liquor. And just the way Ange Jones is riding, I think Angela's riding so well to start this season off. But, Liquor's for me, my winner of the week.
Okay. Now it is time for Cav's Corner, which is supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. He missed both legs of his multi last week, which is the first time in a while that he's had a proper duck egg. Let's see if he can redeem himself this week.
Welcome to Cav's Corner for this week. This week we'll be going to a very wet Doomben, I'd say. My tips are going to be suspect to a very heavy track. But anyway, we'll go Barbie's sister a win into Hurt So Good a win. Good punting, guys.
So he's gone Barbie's sister a win and Hurt So Good a win, which might be a bit suspect if the track doesn't dry out and Barbie's sister doesn't go around.
Yeah, Barbie's a risk. I do want better ground. She trialled really well at Doomben on genuine soft ground, but heavy, I'd be a bit nervous after what we saw in Sydney. So I have to think about her. But his multi's good. I mean, Hurt So Good. He's been. If you watch his run the other day behind I See You Coming, it was very good. He was the run of the race. He just needed a barrier.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we like him, I guess in the 1350, there's no reason not to like this horse in the 1200. But he'll get through the ground. But let's just see what this weather does next few days. Okay.
Well, good luck on the Mekka Raceday on Saturday, Tony. Lockie wants to know if you'll be busting some moves on the dance floor after race 9.
No, I won't be. Lockie. No, I stay clear. But Cav might be. I mean, you've all seen him on Cav's Corner in that very loud shirt he's got on.
He'll fit right in.
Maybe he wears that to the races, and maybe he goes out and he starts doing one of his signature dance moves, which I did have the pleasure or unpleasure to see as a child, the dead ant. Maybe he can explain that one day on the show, what the dead ant is, which is Cav's signature dance move.
That's just put awful thoughts in my head. Anyway, best of luck to everyone on the weekend, and hope everyone has an enjoyable day.